最近おじいちゃんいるから違うけど久しぶりにバイブスあげてこう俺さんできるスイカ
Hello everybody and welcome to the last episode of Castaway Cartoon for the foreseeable future. I'm Neon Manta.
And I'm Crunchy Bagels.
Yeah, this short-lived and ultimately failed experiment to see if we could talk about literally anything aside from anime on Castaway Anime. It didn't turn out so well.
We got approximately 3 views.
Well, we did a little better than that, but and to be fair, the season 3 episodes have been doing a little bit better for themselves, but it's when we tried to cram them all because we weren't prepared for season 3 coming so soon, I guess that wasn't the best idea.
I guess we figured out the upper limits of our niche. We are firmly the anime guys. I guess they don't want to watch anything but the anime and Castaway Anime.
Hey, video
Very
games are
sad.
still on the table.
I mean, possibly.
We could also pivot into like hard normie culture and just talk about Marvel and Star Wars.
Over my dead body.
And if it's what the people want, then if it's what the algorithm demands, then who are we to say no?
We will simply dance monkey dance to the algorithm. You heard it here. You heard it from Neon first, folks, right? I want that on Neon's record and not mine.
Yeah, get ready for an entire year where every week we just watch the Marvel movies in order until we catch up.
Hey guys, today we're going to be doing Castaway VTuber news.
Ah, God, no, I'll end the podcast. And remember, if you enjoyed the podcast, please be sure to hit the like button, head on down to the comments to let us know what you think of the show, and finally, subscribe to the channel for more episodes of Castaway Anime and other videos. Also, real quick, we aren't sponsored in any way with this, but shout out to Dreamdove and her Kickstarter on making a PVC minifigure of Luz. It looks really cute, and we figured we'd help support it in any little way we can. At the time of me saying all this, it's already reached funding and hit all of its current stretch goals, including an Amity figurine, but Dreamdove has suggested new stretch goals, including alternate outfit designs, so if you're interested, check out the Kickstarter, linked in the description.
What happened? We were just about to enter the archives. We were just about to rescue Eda and King.
Human! You have to wake up.
Alright, well, thank you if you have stuck around for this long watching the Owl House episodes of Castaway Anime, God bless, you're a real trooper.
It is a real shame that they don't get views because, yeah, the Owl House is one of the greatest anime I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, like, of all of the shows that we've talked about across the entirety of Castaway Anime thus far, this has been not necessarily my favorite series of podcasts per se, but absolutely my favorite show that we've ever covered.
Really? So you'd put this above Dragon Maid?
Yeah, I like Owl House more than Dragon Maid.
Okay, well, I'm gonna have to go here and disagree right off the bat. Dragon Maid is way better than the Owl House. Like, I'll just put that straight up. I still love both of them to death, but if we're talking about favorite shows ever covered, probably still Sengatsu no Line. But Dragon Maid honestly gives it a run for its money. I'm still making up my mind after season 2, but I'm digressing a little bit. Owl House is still, I'd say overall a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I was
score.
worried that the ending wasn't gonna quite stick the landing, and as we'll discuss in the podcast, I don't think it's as great as it could have been. But there were some elements that felt a little rushed.
There's some small nitpicks I have, and that I could get into, and that Neon will probably fight me to death on because they're really small. But they bug me a little bit.
I might end up agreeing with you. This.
Okay.
I already said before the podcast that I wanted to get the full uncut, uncircumcised experience of the whole episode.
that's one way to say it.
Yeah, so I watched the whole episode without taking any notes, without worrying about the podcast. I just wanted to experience the end of Owl House Galleon.
In fairness,
it's
there
done.
were some times where I was like, I want to take a note, but I don't want to pause the episode. What do I do?
Yeah, it's been a journey. The Owl House is over. We don't need to go over the whole lore and cliff notes of it. You know, it got axed because Disney sucks, and now here we are.
I feel like a broken record, but yeah, it's more rushed than it should have been, but you are not surprised by that. Nobody is. I will say it does a much better job with its pacing than the second episode of the finale. Right off the bat.
Oh yeah. Of the 3 finale episodes of season 3, I prefer. Thanks to them, I like it the most. This one's second place, and then For the Future was a third place. But this is the final episode, Watching and Dreaming, and a cute little thing. The first letters of every episode in a season, when scrambled, make a message. But this one, they just took the first 3 words to make a thing. So it just says "Thanks for watching." I thought that's cute.
I did not even notice that.
Yeah,
so
thanks
there
to
you go.
them
Only
for
a
the
true
future,
Owl House
watching and
stan.
dreaming. Thanks for watching. Yeah, I guess
that is
we'll
cute.
I guess we'll just get right into it.
So the episode begins with Luz not knowing where she is, all confused, like what happened, you know, sort of groggy like, and she ends up waking up only to realize that she has found herself transported into the third Evangelion remake movie, where everyone suddenly hates her for no reason.
Is that how Evangelion works? I've not seen any of the...
I've seen Digi's podcast on the third Evangelion movie.
Yeah,
and apparently this is how the plot goes, where everyone suddenly hates him. And Luz has the same thing happen to her, where she sees Amity, and Amy's like, "What you've done is unforgivable." I burst out laughing at this line, where near the beginning, Gus is like talking to a crowd on stage, and he's like motioning towards Luz as she walks on, like, Luz is the biggest hypocrite ever. And the tone with which he says it just got the biggest giggle out of me. I'm not sure if I was supposed to laugh there, but I don't mind
weren't.
that I did.
No, it's a whole thing. She realizes she's you know, all her friends are turning on her, and she's feeling all kinds of guilt. And then Amity attacks. It's like, I challenged you to a witch's battle, but then Luz is able to see through it. It's like, wait a second, that's not how it works.
It's a witch's duel, bro. The Amity I know would never forget something so obvious, bro.
I
This
love how she
ain't Amity.
then walks up to the fake Amity and like just goes bloop and blip, just like
Bloop,
flicks her
bloop.
ears.
So after this, you know, they Luz backs up and Amity, you know, starts charging, and then suddenly it's I guess the collector is like taking them. Okay, I'm gonna be real with you. I'm still not entirely clear on what happens here and the logic behind everything. But to my knowledge, what happens is the collector, he, for whatever reason, is ready to take them back up. I think it's because Luz figured out the ruse. And as he does, they, for whatever reason, snap out of their trance. I don't exactly know why. I guess it's just the mechanics of how the collector's thing works. If he's taking you back up, or no, actually,
I think it's because Luz figured out that everything was an illusion and wasn't real. So then
the collector just gave up on it.
That,
I
or like,
guess.
I don't know. It is a little vague, but
It's not really, because the theory that was going through my mind, which is a lot more complicated and probably not nearly as correct. I was not Occam's razoring this at all. The fan theory I had was that because like they're trying to attack her, but then the collector is like forcing them not to because he's sending them up. And so they're like, because they can't do it, they like, I guess, figure it out, I guess? I don't even know where I was going with that. It's a little poorly conveyed, but not a huge deal, right? But it still got a little bit of a question mark from me. So, slight orange underline.
Yeah, it also marks my biggest issue with this episode. This is the final episode of the Owl House, and the side characters get fucking sidelined.
I don't have a huge issue with that. I understand why it's like that just because of the time. Although
I
admittedly,
understand
it would
that,
have been
like,
nice for a more collective, we're all fighting against him. And I imagine that's what we would have gotten had the rat not intervened.
but like, there's not even a B plot. Like
Yeah.
the B plot is Belos possessing Rain's body to go after the Titan within the Emperor's castle, but like the side characters don't even get to like do anything.
They
like,
are, admittedly, it is a little, I found it a little weird, and I knew you would mention this, that for the majority of the episode, Amity and co are asleep.
Yeah, they're asleep. They've been puppetized. That they've turned themselves. The collector turned them into a puppet, Morty, and then they wake up because Amity was able to subconsciously move her body enough to etch the light glyph into the floor and wake themselves up, because apparently light brings you back to reality. I guess.
Do wonder how Amity and co figured that out. Not
Yeah,
important, but I do
really
wonder.
It is really weird that like it sounds like they knew how to wake themselves up despite they
I don't
that
really
is an
get
incredibly
how they
good
would have
point.
figured that out. It's not really an intuitive solution either. And that's
I mean, I
another
guess
thing.
if you ever wanted to wake someone up, you could just flashbang them. That I guess that'd be pretty
is
effective.
fair, but there's no reason to assume that would be the solution, even though Amity's like, bro, it makes complete sense. When you want to wake up from a bad dream, you just turn on the lights. You just turn them on. And Luz is like, oh, that's so obvious. How could I figure that out earlier? She doesn't actually say that, but that's what that's what it feels like almost. Yeah, just kind of an unanswered thing. And I
But
also feel like
there's
if
no time
given
to worry
more
about
time-
it.
Yeah. It's such an omnipresent thing that I feel like this would have had a more satisfying resolution if if there was more time, if that she could like puzzle her way out of the scenario in a more satisfying way. This could have taken up like the majority of an episode. I feel like maybe at least half if they had been given more time, but whoops.
And
We
hey,
can't
they
do
were
that.
given at least a little bit more time. This episode is like an hour long, as opposed to the last two, which were like 45 minutes.
Yeah, the YouTube one is 54 minutes 49 seconds, and pretty much the entirety of that is the episode.
Why? That like the mechanics of it is just like small potatoes, and when just going back to my original point, why the fuck are the side characters sidelined so hard? Like they after they wake themselves up from their puppetification, they don't do anything.
Yeah.
They
wake up.
free the
they-
other puppets and like keep them safe when the archives are falling, but like that's it. And like anyone could have done that.
The more you say it, the more your point is getting to me, and the more I'm feeling like, oh yeah, wait, that is disappointing,
Yeah.
actually.
I know this is jumping ahead a little bit, but like what like hurt me the most about this was when we get to lose fucking dies, and she turns into like a bunch of light orbs that float throughout the aisles, and when it gets to the castle, and everyone's just like, huh, what's all this now? Imagine like we were cucked, bro. Imagine the reaction if like all of her friends saw that happen to her. Imagine Amity's reaction if she saw that happen to Luz.
Admittedly, when Eda and King both go fucking feral upon especially Eda, who has like her mother's rage going on inside of her, that was like one of the best parts of the episode. I absolutely love Ida's motherly rage. And yeah, I do get your feelings of being cucked from seeing that in other characters like Amity and all the other rest of them.
He like loses mom. The most reaction that the side characters get is that loses mom while still a puppet.
Camila Camila would be
her puppet was crying, but like
oh yeah, but
like imagine the fucking heartbreak that she lost her husband and her daughter. Like,
that would be rough.
Absolutely fucking robbed of that. I'm mad about it.
It's over. We have no time to do anything.
I just don't get it, man. They were present throughout the last 2 episodes. Why couldn't they have been present here? I get that they wanted to put the focus on the original primary trio of Luz, Eda, and King, but like, you couldn't give them a little bit to do? After Belos possesses the Titan's heart, there's no B plot anymore. It just becomes one big plot, and that's it.
In fairness, it is a little covered up from the obvious fact that they are trying to return to the original trio, so it does, in the moment make a little more sense of like, okay, we're gonna be staying with these characters. Like, we're going back to basics. It does feel almost prophetic in a sense, but not quite. And yeah, I do feel your disappointment, and I do feel that the episode would be better with them doing more.
But I guess we gotta sit down and eat what we're given.
And hey, what we've been given ain't bad eaten, admittedly.
Yeah,
so
after Luz wakes up and then is able to wake Eda and King from their hypnosis, then the Belos, still in Rain's body, convinces Collector like, hey, I've got a fun idea. How about if you go like talk to them in person and like show them how fun your games are and how much you want to be their friend? I bet they'll like hear you out, bro. You'll be making friends in no time. And Collector's like, oh shit, all right, lit fam, I'm a head out.
Fam.
And leaving Belos to head on over to the Emperor's castle, because he's like, but the Collector is super powerful and I can't really fuck with him right now. But he's told me that the Titans are more powerful than the Collector, and he can't fuck with them, and that the Titan's heart is inside the castle. So since I've been, possessing bodies all this time, how about I go? I'll just become a kaiju. Like, yeah, fuck it, right?
And so he does. But in the meantime, we get the Collector facing off against Luz and Eda and King. And I absolutely love the shot where the Collector's shadow is shown as like a chess piece.
Yeah, that is pretty key.
That's such a cool visual. And then they get thrown into a very quick montage of games. The most memorable one to me was Pac-Man, where we get the Collector's giant Pac-Man face. We also get Jenga too.
I love how the Collector, even though there are no video games, I'm pretty sure in the Boiling Eyes, he knows what Pac-Man is.
Yeah, that is an interesting thing to note. And is, yeah, I guess indicative of his power of his crazy amount of power. They also play, I think, marbles?
Yes.
8-ball or something like that? Marbles.
And then they play marbles.
Okay.
And then, I will say, the good thing about this episode is that it gives us, it's following up on what the last episode did, and it's giving us a more proper insight into the Collector. We get as much of an origin story as we're going to get for him. We find out that his race in particular, I guess, are just called the archivists and not just the collectors. He specifically is just the collector.
And so the collector, back in the day, he was in the archivist's land. Then they were like, "Yo, you should go down to the Boiling Islands. There's like some titans there. You can play with them instead." And so the collector did, and he had a lot of fun. But over time, the archivists were like, "Actually, we want those titans, bro," and they collect them one by one. And eventually, there was one titan left who thought that the collector was the one taking all the titans, and so he basically banished the collector into the form that we see him later on in or not later on, well, I guess later on in terms of the timeline, earlier in season 2, yeah.
And with all that done, we find like you don't really have a basis for this because you haven't seen Steven Universe yet, but his origin story reminded me that of Spinell from the Steven Universe movie, where all he wanted to do was play, and the people he wanted to play with didn't really want him around or thought he was annoying. So it's like, okay, how about you go? We'll play a game. How about you go do this thing where you'll get left behind, or maybe even killed. I think the archivists were like willing to let him die, but weren't planning on the Titans befriending him.
They did not care about him because, like the collector said, Titans are more powerful than him, and he's going to a land of nothing but Titans. And I think the collector even says, "Let's play a game. Let's play hide and seek," and presumably they all hide from him, never to be seen again, and he gets banished or whatever.
And so this really strikes a chord.
The archivists didn't return with the milk.
Yeah, this really struck a chord with Luz in the gang, because they know what it's like to be outcast and to be alone in the world. And so they, in an effort to placate the collector and try to maybe even like you befriend him a little, they show him what they show him like a little quick montage of their memories and how they came together and how they could be friends without like forcing anyone to or making anyone like do their bidding, and they all just came together naturally, because that's what you can do. You don't have to mind control people, collector.
Yeah, the collector's whole shtick is that he just has he wants to befriend people, and he's spent his entire life not never having a place to belong, essentially. And it's just that his conception of friendship is so screwed up, and I imagine playing with Titans didn't help that impression, because he can do world-ending magic on the Titans, and they'll just shrug it off and be like, "Yo, that was pretty fun, bro. Now let's play death tag."
Yeah, like it's hard because the collector is pretty much still a god, and he even makes a point to be like, "Hey, toys break all the time, so when they break, all you gotta do is fix them." And Lou's like, do you not know what death is? Like, do you know what happens when you know that people die when they are killed, right?
Bro didn't learn the main lesson of FMAB. And so, yeah, he just has no conception of friendship, and so he gets introduced to it through Luz and Eda, and through that, they decide like, hey, the collector can be redeemed. He's still like a pure soul deep down. He just don't know nothing. We just gotta teach him the ways. And there's a big emphasis in this episode on who should you redeem and who should you not redeem. Who will learn
Steven Universe,
and try
take
to better
notes.
themselves. Who can learn and grow as a person, and who is so stuck in their ways that they will never ever change, that they are just heinous people who do not want to better themselves. And I absolutely love this moment, because they teach the collector friendship, where it's like, someone messes up, you just gotta, give them a big ol' hug and, pick them back up, right?
You gotta teach them
No.
kindness and forgiveness.
And so the collector, I absolutely love this moment. It's probably my favorite in the episode, honestly. Like, I know there are super big emotional high points or whatever, but for some reason this one just struck such a chord with me.
This is one of the funniest moments in the episode.
When Belos, he's gotten into the Titan's heart at this point, and he's, big monster man, evil, whatever. And the collector, in all his brilliance, goes up to Belos and gives him a big ol' hug. Just a big ol' hug and says,
I get it now. You like your whole life you never truly had kindness and forgiveness. Well, now here's your chance, Belos. We can all be friends. And I had the same thought, and I went on Twitter after the episode, and everyone else had the same thought too. This is just throwing shade on Steven Universe. And granted, I like in Steven Universe's defense, like that's the whole point of the show. Like, where even though it is a little silly about maybe you find it a little silly that Steven would be so forgiving, or at least willing to make peace with such, let's call them bad people, to just keep it brief without going into a whole tangent on the show.
The specific expression that Eda lose.
Yeah, I screenshotted it.
I also did. It is in my notes. I will use that as a reaction image.
Editron has it up right now. It's very good. He
it is
gives a big
so.
old hug.
I could not stop.
He tries to hit him with the Naruto talk no
it's-
jutsu, but Belos ain't having none of it.
Yeah, and the whole point being made here is talk no jutsu can be used sometimes, but you gotta use it on the right person. Belos is, let's just say, not the kindest soul out there. He is a serial liar, pretty much kind of psychopath. He wants revenge on an entire species and wants to kill them all, despite the fact that most of them did do nothing to him.
He is in fact a genocidal maniac.
Yes. Yeah, why would you forgive that?
The collector, once again, he just don't know better. He thinks it's all black and white, but it's a gray area.
And this is one of the things that I do think about a lot, which is, in fiction, there's a tendency for certain shows to forgive really, really horrible people. The main one that I can think of that I
Steven
love
Universe.
Well, yeah, but also from my perspective as a mostly anime fan, Mushoku Tensei. Rudius starts off as one of the most deplorable people you could possibly imagine. Literally gropes someone against their will while they're sleeping, so that's fun. He's just awful. And then throughout the course of the series, he, learns that, like, hey, maybe I shouldn't just be literally the worst person. Maybe I should be, like, not a piece of shit. And it does bring up an interesting moral dilemma. Well, when do you forgive someone? At what point can they be redeemed? And at what point do you, do what they eventually do to Belos and just axe them, curb stomp them, have delight in trashing all over them and being like, you're never gonna change, it's not worth trying to forgive you.
I too
You're
love
donezo.
a silent voice. We
Yeah,
gotta cover that movie on the
Off top.
podcast one day.
That would be fun. I feel like I'll like it more on a rewatch, but I still liked it the first time. We're digressing a little bit, but yeah, it's such an interesting conversation to me because I don't think anyone will really have the exact same answer to that. There will always be little disagreements of like, okay, well, can that person be redeemed? At what point can they be redeemed? How much suffering do they need to go through before you can be like, okay, they learned their lesson? Is there the alt universe Belos that gets kindness and forgiveness and learns the error of his ways?
I cannot wait
No,
to expose
but
you to Steven Universe and see how you feel about it.
judging from what I've heard about it and from what you're saying, I don't think I'll necessarily agree with it, but we'll burn that bridge when we get there.
Yeah, so Belos ain't having none of it. He's a firing his laser at the collector. Luz rushes in to save him, and it's like, hey, it's okay. I think I blocked it. Oh shit! And she's got the fungus among us all over her, and she's getting consumed. And in line with it, I guess it's now just a written rule at Disney Channel animation studios or whatever, if you have a series finale to your show, your main character has to die.
So yeah, Luz, she dies, and I guess when you go to die or whatever, you go to like the place in between worlds. Your soul just travels on there. By the way, in a beautiful sequence. Belos's body going everywhere, like the goop, making almost like these otherworldly, worldly tree-like patterns. Absolutely stunningly haunting yet gorgeous. And
Yeah, I love
this
how
little ball of light going through.
I love how when he's lifting his arm when he's possessing the entire Titan, he's like, because the Boiling Isles is the Titan, he's like shifting the land masses. Like what was once like, the arm was like a pretty much level place on the floor, like the surface of the planet. Now it's like a raised 90-degree elevated cliffside.
I absolutely love that image of the arm reaching out towards the heaven. Like, I have no idea what about it is striking such a chord with me, but it is so majestic. Like, when Luz is going way up high to look down on the entirety of the Boiling Isles, man, that is one of the most beautiful shots I've seen recently.
And Luz, I even though like the sequence of her slowly dying was pretty unsettling and a little shocking, because like, oh wow, she's dying, and like what sold it for me the most was her reaction to it, where she sees it slowly creeping up her arm and like start to consume her, and saying goodbye to Eda and King for what she thinks is the last time. Like that's pretty like heartstring tugging. Again, really wish the side cast could be there to watch her die and we get all their reactions to it, because I thrive off angst. But
I admittedly have slightly mixed feelings about it. Because on the one hand, getting to see Eda and King go rabid over it is very satisfying. The sequence itself is very pretty and well done. No, I enjoy it. I just kind of, admittedly, there is the part of me that's watching it and being like,
she
Luz
died
isn't
and
dead.
came back with
Luz
no
isn't dead.
consequences.
Yeah, and another thing is that it kind of lowers the stakes. Okay, so let's assume that everyone when they die goes to the place between dimensions.
I don't even
for
think that's exactly how it works.
reason.
I think
Yeah,
it only happened to
don't know
Luz because she's
why.
connected with the Titan.
How is she connected to the Titan?
I don't know, because the Titan said so. I can't tell you why when she died she went to the space between. But
Yeah, so
hey, it's the finale, man. We don't got time to worry about that.
Yeah, so my two big problems with it, I was gonna get to that, is that I'm not sure why that happened, and it lowers the stakes, kind of, depending on what interpretation you want to go with. Because Luz has been in the lands between dimensions before, and, it's she got out of it just fine. I can't imagine everyone going there when they die for at least a brief time. Maybe like they travel there and then go to the underworld through there. But if that's the case, then that just kind of lowers all the stakes. It's like, well, if people die, they aren't dead, as it turns out, so you can just I guess there is no concept of mortality. Congratulations, collector, you can put them back together. But what you were saying about Luz being the only one who went down there makes more sense to me in the context of everything else in the show. The issue is, why? Why is Luz the one going down there? And as far as I know, other than what you were saying about her being connected to the Titan arbitrarily, which I wouldn't buy into, I
think
I was searching
maybe
my
not
brain for an
arbitrarily. Maybe
explanation.
it's because like the Titan chose her because like she's King's.
But
his
why?
she's the best friends with his son and has been in the space between before, and like we've seen even in season 3 every time she's passed through a portal, the king, the Titan tried to reach out to her, but you know, it is a thing that is kind of like, that's kind of incredibly
Like,
convenient,
I guess,
but you know what?
All right,
I guess
because
we just
Titans
gotta deal
are
with
so
it.
powerful, I guess I can buy into that explanation. But in that case, it's a matter of conveyance, because it just feels so odd, and it's like almost like it makes no attempt to justify it.
It's
And
the long and short of it is, because I think we're just going in circles.
yeah,
It's a little silly.
yeah, and I also just don't necessarily love fake out deaths on principle. I mean, there's ways to do it.
Let's fucking go
And I don't
Gravity
think this
Falls
was horrible.
finale.
Huh?
I said let's fucking go Gravity Falls finale.
Yeah.
Even though
well,
Stan
that one
didn't
was more
die,
egregious. That one was way
Stan
more
didn't
egregious,
die,
but
he's like literally lost nothing from his sacrifice, and his sacrifice
yeah.
meant nothing.
And then this one, it's not horrible, but when I was watching the entire beautiful sequence, I was like, but she's not dead. I, as the viewer, know, like, with near 100% certainty that they're not going to kill her off, especially not, it wouldn't be a terrible way to kill her off, but it's like, in the moment, it's like, there's no way that'd be the final one. It'd have to have so much more build-up for that to be the final one. If it was the final one, I kind of would have respected that, although I'm not sure if that would be the best narrative decision either. But no, I'm digressing a little bit, but the point is, it's just kind of, I guess a little bit of, I don't want to say cheap, but it does, that's the only word I can really bring to mind.
I don't want to talk about spoilers for Amphibia too much, but there's a similar event that happens in its finale, which is why I said I guess it's a theme that the main characters in Disney cartoons have to die, because it happens in Gravity Falls in a way, it happens in Starverses, it happens in Amphibia happens here. So I'm looking forward to Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, or The Ghost and Molly McGee, where one of them's gonna die and come back. I guess
yeah.
I guess technically one of them's already dead in Ghost and Molly McGee, but that's
anyway, we see King's dad. He's great,
and he's fucking Ego Raptor.
He's just like this chill dude. Literally, I'm skipping ahead a little bit, but his message to King is a bread pun. I'm actually blanking on what specific.
I loaf you.
I loaf you. There we go. Which is incredible.
It's a callback all the way to the. I can hear the back. It's a callback to the bread puns of season 1. He has gone to get his cat.
Yeah, all right, I'm back. The cat is in the room.
Okay, we'll see how long that lasts.
Not long.
So what Luz is in the space between. She meets the Titan King's dad, voiced by fucking Aaron Hansen Ego Raptor, which I find incredibly hilarious. That Mr. Game Grump, sequelitis Sonic Bad himself, is the voice of God in the Owl House.
I did not even know it was Egoraptor voicing that. Although I don't watch Egoraptor, so that explains it.
I did not know it was him until I saw the credits of the episode, and I was trying to look at the visuals and not the credits part of it because it was covering it up. But I saw the word Hansen, and I was like, no. And I rewound it, and I saw it next to the title, like, Eren Hansen is the Titan. And like, it's not that Eren Hansen hasn't voiced in cartoons before, but I don't think he's ever had a role that important on that big a show before. Like the last major voice role I remember recognizing Eren Hansen from was when he showed up as a cameo in a Rick and Morty episode once, and that was it.
And King and Luz together have a conversation where Luz is like, am I the real bad guy? Am I the real Belos? Because he's just protecting what he loves. You know, and that's kind of what we're doing. And King's dad is like, you're cringe. That's unbased, Luz.
You've been boofing the apple juice too much.
Bro, you are down in some expired apple blood.
The intrusive thoughts have taken over. You see, Belos is
my cat already wants back out.
Belos is much like Crunchy's cat, evil that is beyond redemption, caring only about themselves. Whereas
that is so accurate.
Whereas you Luz, you act to save your friends, even if it is at the cost of your own like sacrifice. Which is why, Luz, I'm going to bring you back, and you can defeat Belos with the power I will bestow you, with the inevitable shonen anime power-up that I fucking called two years ago.
Can we talk about how insane it is that one of the best designs in the show gets, like, not even 10 minutes of screen time?
Yeah, well... First of all, I also want to comment on this real quick before we move on from the Titan. When he gives Luz the power, I love the one shot where after he tells her the bread pun to tell the King, she's like, oh man, she like closes her eyes and laughs like, oh man, he's gonna love that. And then when she opens her eyes, the Titan is like in like it's a giant skeletal form and slowly sinking into the space between goo.
Cool shot.
That's fucking cool. And then I also love how we don't get an explanation for this, but for some reason he has a little hootie in his eye.
Yeah, they don't explain that. Wait, and bro, it's the lore. Hootie's Owl House spinoff is gonna have Hootie as the ultimate villain. He's in the eye of the Titan. You know what that means? Get on this, theorist. He has more power than the Titans. The Owl Tube will take over the world in the Owl House spinoff. I'm calling it right now. I've been calling it ever since the first 10 episodes. Hootie is the mega villain. He will when they have the Grudge Bee spinoff.
I'm sorry that you're huffing the copium, like even to the point where Hootie didn't even get a single line this whole episode, which I think is a sin.
It is an absolute travesty that Hootie did not get to hoot upon seeing Lilith again. He does get the funniest sickening
moment in the whole episode, where after the Collector brings him back from becoming a puppet for Lilith, he like wakes up almost like a Disney princess.
That did get a chuckle out of me.
And I know that this is a pretty unpopular, toxic ship, but with the way that she reacts, you'd think that Lilith X Hootie is the OTP of the show.
I mean, what do people have against Hootie X Lilith? Greatest power couple.
They are always together. Even in the future, like, epilogue, they're still together, and they're working together at the Hexside.
Bro, I mean, I ship it. OTP. Best ship in the show.
Better
What,
than
Lumity? Get that out of here. We need what's the ship name? Hulith.
Yeah. It is an affront to God. But anyway, now like with all that being said, with the Titan's power in tow, to once again further draw parallels to Amphibia, where the main character of that show gets their shonen anime power up and goes Super Saiyan Blue. Luz comes back, all decked out in her Titan shonen anime power up form, looking like a Super Saiyan 4.
It is such a good design. They had no right to make it this good and only use it for 10 minutes. Oh, literally.
Me at the Amphibia finale, seeing all the characters go Super Saiyan.
Yeah, she's got like this super long, bushy hair. Looks so good. Little witch's hat. Just everything about
oversized
so
witch's hat.
That is a thing.
Dark
me.
corneas with yellow irises.
She just looks so cool.
Covered in Titan's fur. It's literally Super Saiyan 4.
Like, yeah, I'm scrolling through the episode on YouTube right now, looking at all the Luz design bits. She's got like almost skeletal looking feet. She got little horns too. Why was this not in the show more?
It is the definition of Kino. And
dude, it is unreal how much I love this design.
I also love how she can just like now cast
I'm just
glyphs.
now realizing this. Hold on, Neon. I'm just now realizing this. It's like my phone is ringing. Scam likely. It's combining aspects from Eda's design and King's. She's got like bones near her feet, but the same sort of eyes that Eda has in her harpy form. I'm literally just now realizing this.
I didn't think about that until now, but that is pretty cool that it is a culmination of King and Eda's harpy form. That is pretty cool.
Basically,
so good.
We need more of it, and also any fan art with that design in it, I am instantly upvoting.
And then now all three of them are working together as Luz now has the power to just cast glyphs without even needing to draw them. She just like makes them appear in the air, and she's now all got the Titan's powers. She's fucking Belos' shit up, blowing away all the corruption. And they go to the heart to cut him off from the source, and then she gets one more recurrence of the I am the good witch, loose warrior of peace. Now eat this sucker.
Which everyone called, would be at the finale of the show when she took Belos out one final time.
Yeah, in a beautiful animated sequence, by the way.
Yeah. There are some really good cuts in this episode. Where...
Yeah. I got easily my favorite cut is when she's yanking him off, then says the line, and like her eyes are glowing just pure yellow, and then just like in the most anime way possible rips him off.
Dude, it is so raw.
Oh man, and then yeah, he's cut off from the Titan. He has got no more power. He's and they're just outside now, and what a great send off for Belos. Like this is how he deserved to go out.
I absolutely love the bit where one last time he's back in his human form. At this point, well, not entirely human, but he looks human on the surface, and he's convincingly Luz like, hey, you saved me, Luz. I was getting possessed, and yeah, it made me do all those things, but I'm good now. And Luz is like,
and I love how Luz doesn't say a fucking word. Like she's like he's not even worth the breath. Like all she does is just like stare him down, and then when the boiling rains start coming and start melting him in real time.
It's so awesome.
Yeah, and then but the rain doesn't affect her at all.
Because she's God. And then Eda and King and I think Rain come over and start kicking them down.
I
with
love
a little leaf over their head to protect them.
I
Except
love the
him.
line where it's like, Belos is like, come on, Luz, don't be like these witches, we're human, we're better than this, and she just walks away, says nothing, like stares him down, and then King Eda and Ring all come up to him like, you're better than humans? Well, guess what? We ain't, motherfucker. And they just fucking curb stomp what's left of him into to death. And like,
basically, the best way to call someone cringe.
It was such a... they even comment on like how... Rain even says that was incredibly satisfying. It's just like they kill a character on screen and like, that felt good. The murder is in fact justified sometimes.
So after this, we get the final 10 episodes, or not 10 episodes, 10 minutes or so of the episode. If only there were 10 episodes. 10 minutes of the episode.
Adventures, but we don't.
And
so
we get a lot of gay kisses. I'm sure the rat was seething at that one, but it's the end of the show, so I guess they had a bit more leeway in putting in as many as they could get away with. We get Willow's dad's kissing. We get kisses from Luz and Amity on screen, up in front, in the camera. The Yuri is very cool.
Hey, want me to ruin the Owl House forever for you?
I think I know what you're gonna say, but go ahead.
Isn't it fucked up how we've gone through now 3 seasons of the Owl House, and Luz and Amity never once told each other I love you?
Wait. You're right.
No, they never said it.
Wait.
They said they wanted to go on
it?
No, they said they wanted to go out, and they do refer to themselves as girlfriends, and they do kiss, but they never say that they love each other.
This is messed up.
Life
isn't fair.
The world is a fuck. Come on, man. That one voice line would have fed me and my kids for a generation.
Bro would have stopped famines if they had put that in there. Bro, we would that would put rain towards the savannah for generations to come, and yet they didn't do it.
I don't get it. I really don't get it. I just one. Just one I love you. That it's fucked. But I guess there's no time to dwell on it.
We get to see first the collector goes back to the stars because, he's like, I need some reflecting to do, some time to think. After my YouTuber apology, I need to take a break from uploading for a bit. And
then now the rebuilding process begins.
They've started putting everything back together, and it's not like everything is perfect, but it's much better than when Belos was here, trying to take everything down. And slowly but surely, they're getting everything back to normal. And
I love how they make it this point though. Now that the Titan's influence is like gone forever now. When Luz tries to use her glyphs, they don't work anymore because now
I loved that detail.
Luz can now. Well, even though she has string bean, she can't like do the magic that made her unique. But she's like, you know what? It doesn't matter because I'm gonna continue to forge my own path, my own way. And that leads us into the time skip.
And we get to see everyone with all sorts of new designs.
They're all
we get to see
good.
older Luz now ready to go to college, and older Amity. I have in my notes. Hold on, let me scroll down to it.
Thank God,
bro
Amity
had
is legal
one hell of
now.
an emo phase, but I kinda dig it.
Yeah, Luz does look like she went through an emo phase. Like, she's got darker eyeliner on for her eyelashes. She's cut her hair. I think the shortest it's ever been in the show.
Yeah. And then Amity, she had sort of the opposite phase where now I think her hair is much longer than it was before.
Yeah, it's long enough to tie up in a ponytail, and she's got the undercut with her brown hair, to fully signify to the world that she is a lesbian.
Lilith grew out her hair a little more. Thank God.
Yeah, thank God. Willow cut her hair short, which I guess it looks fine. Hunter changed the least. He looks just like he got a little taller.
Well, he has a little different hair. But other than that,
Gus got even blacker.
Eda didn't change much.
She got a hook hand, which is the most Eda thing she could have possibly done.
Oh yeah, she does.
And
okay, never
King
mind. That's
grew,
based
a couple inches.
Yeah, I love that. He got a little furrier and ever so slightly taller, and that's about it.
And now he has started writing his own glyphs that can do the magic. And so now Luz has a whole new glyph language to learn.
Yeah, his powers are awakening, and he's started to bring magic back, bring glyphs back,
make glyphs great again.
Camila has graying hair now,
even more so.
Yeah.
I guess that whole plot point of Luz having to choose between two worlds didn't mean fucking dick, because the collector just made a new portal for him.
Yep. I mean, I guess it got resolved in the end, but
I'm a little upset that it got resolved off screen.
Yeah,
I at least wanted a little bit to be like, hey, it's I guess I'm gonna have to figure out a way to get back to the human realm, I guess, with my mom, and then we probably will have to stay there. But then the collector just could have been like, hey, I could probably help you make a new permanent portal door so you can come back whenever you want. No, that just gets resolved off screen. Don't even worry about it, bro. Just look at everyone's cool new time skip designs and cry that you'll never get to see him again.
Although I do absolutely love the bit where Luz is like, I'll finally be able to see my friends again. And Camila's like, Luz, you saw them last week.
And I also love that Luz, when she's going to study at the college that Eda is starting for wild magic, and she's gonna study every track like she always did.
In classic Luz fashion.
One element of the new designs I particularly love, and I didn't notice it on my first viewing, is that all of the
on your first view, so you watched it multiple times?
I watched the whole episode twice. The second time was when I was looking at all the stuff that people were saying online. I didn't notice that the Hexside squad of our main student characters, they all got tattoos of Flapjack.
That I did see on Twitter. And Hunter's the canonical name of his new palisman is Waffle. Yeah. And now Owl House fans on Twitter are getting apparently at least planning to get Flapjack tattoos.
That would be pretty raw. I have dabbled in the toyed with the notion of getting tattoos based on shows or games and movies of my all-time 10 out of 10 favorite masterpiece things. But if I were to get an Owl House tattoo, I don't think it would be Flapjack. I think it would be the light glyph.
I don't think I'll ever get a tattoo of anything, honestly.
I would get a tattoo. The only thing that is I'm hesitant or hesitant. I was gonna say reprehensed, but I don't think I wanted to use a word that strong. It's just that I don't want it to hurt, man. I hate sharp things and needles as is. I hate every time I have to go get a shot for something. I just now in the idea of like one scratching along my skin, like the entire time. That I would.
Beauty is pain, man. Beauty is pain, and also owl house tattoos apparently.
One thing I love about Luz's design too. I don't know if you noticed this. Amity gave her necklace.
I did not notice that.
Yeah, the iconic moon necklace that Amity had. I think ever since season 2. Yeah, she gave it to Luz, and I think that's really cute. And I love how her ponytail, the little crystals that tie it up in her hair. Those were the crystals from her Grom King and Queen crown from season 1.
Yeah, it's a very densely packed sequence of just seeing all the characters doing all the different things.
Yeah, they've got all sorts of different advancements going on. They found a way to get rid of sigils, so that now they don't have to worry about sigils anymore.
Yeah, we get to see, I think, Hunter making a talisman.
Yeah, Hunter is working with the Clawthorns to carve new talisman from new palistrum trees.
Yeah, an adorable Hunt Low moment of Hunter and Willow sliding down a cliff or a hill or something like that, and
yeah,
Hunter is like falling down and falls down into Willow, but Willow hugs him and his eyes turn into dots.
It's very cute, and also fucked up how they never like it's pretty apparent that they're a couple, but they don't do anything too romantic outside of that. But it is kind of fucked up that in the finale we don't even get like even a kiss on the cheek. Like, come on, man.
Give the Hunt Low shippers what they want.
Hey man, it's okay. Rada shippers didn't get too much eaten either.
But yeah, I think that about does it. Unless there's anything else that I'm skipping out on.
Just the very end thing where Luz walks into the demon realm. They celebrate her quinceañera, but like 3 years later because she spent so many of her birthdays rebuilding the Boiling Isles. And so then the Collector comes by and a big shooting star barrage of fireworks, and then they all say bye in the cadence that they've been using the whole season.
Bye.
Yeah, that was really cute. And that's the end. They all wave goodbye. And with that, the Owl House has come to a close.
Yep.
There's no more episodes because Disney fucking killed it.
Maybe that Grudgeby spinoff. That doesn't sound like they could make much out of it though.
Maybe we'll get the web comic that Dana wanted to make.
So final thoughts. I guess you can go first, considering you are all over this show.
So the big question that I was like preparing myself going into the final episode was, is this going to be the moment where Owl House dethrones Steven Universe as my favorite cartoon of all time? It did not. The ending was a little too rushed. We still have some questions that some things that they never really dove into that I wish they did, like hey, what the fuck happened with the portal door? Like who made it? Was it the Titan who made it? Was it Evelyn who made it? Or whoever. I think that was the name of the witch that Caleb fell in love with.
That you right that they didn't go into it.
They didn't go into. I wish they had a little more backstory for Belos. Just like a little more insight to see like how he reacted to Caleb corrupting, or like what he perceived to be Evelyn Clawthorn. I mean, of course, it's still up in the air if it was even a Clawthorn that did it, or if it was just a witch who just happened to. It just was a witch, any old witch. and how he perceived her to be corrupting Caleb, and that drove him to, kill his brother and do all the things he did.
I mean, honestly, I'm not too beat up about the not knowing more about Belos's backstory, although the theory of like who Evelyn is admittedly still up in the air. Yeah, you right on that. I guess my main thing is the Owl House is a really good 2 seasons that are just a complete masterpiece from start to finish, and then a pretty great finale that I cannot in good conscience give in isolation a 10 out of 10 like I would the first 2 seasons. I think the show still overall manages to net a 10 because it did give me like some of my favorite memories of consuming media of last year, but in terms of the finale, it's I think the pacing got to it. It really is the pacing.
Yeah, and it's understandable they had to rush things and cut some ideas that they had short or even out entirely. I'm sure if this show had like 5 seasons, can you imagine how amazingly fleshed out this show would be if it had like 5 seasons of content?
I'm not sure if it needs 5, but even 3 would have, I think, given it the 10 out of 10. Every episode builds towards something absolutely incredible that it deserves. But as it stands, yeah, season 3 just kinda, it's understandable why, but the ball has been dropped, unfortunately.
If I were to give individual like scores to the seasons, I would say season 1 is a 9 out of 10, season 2 is a 10, and then season 3 I would give an 8.
I would update that by giving season 1 also a light 10 out of 10 just because I love the characters so much, but season 3 I absolutely agree with the score on, strong 8.
And I know averaging those scores together, it probably shouldn't come out to a 10 out of 10, but like, dude, season 2 of The Owl House is my favorite season of television. I cannot think of another season of a television show that bats 100 like every episode so consistently.
Yeah, I mean, I understand things like that. There are shows that I'd give overall scores that are way higher than what the individual parts even out to. I guess in terms of the finale in isolation, it almost feels like a case where the individual parts are better in isolation when you're watching them, but that the second you think about them on the whole, you're like, well, that was kind of disappointing. Almost like less than the sum of its parts in a way. But it's still good. Like,
Yeah,
for all this complaining, we're only saying that it didn't live up to what it could be. And the issue is, what it could be is an outstanding masterpiece. And, I mean, it still is, I'd say, pretty much a masterpiece, but I think the Owl House and Dragon Maid are like the difference between a low 10 out of 10 and a high 10 out of 10, if you even care about lows and highs once you're at that score.
Well, the edge that the Owl House has over Dragon Maid to me is that the narrative. Because, as incredible as Dragon Maid's slice of life stories are, and it's like it's great to peek into its worldview, and it's just a comfy like seat to sit in. At the end of the day, it is still a slice of life, and I do just in general prefer narrative stories to slice of life stories.
Well, see, that's where you're objectively and factually wrong. Slice of life is great, although I've actually been a little growing out of it as of late, but Dragon Maid reminded me of how good slice of life can be.
Well then, hey, Amphibia has a nice balance of both, so maybe you'll like that more than the Owl House. I don't get people who can say with their whole chest with a straight face that Amphibia is overall better than the Owl House. I will say Amphibia has one episode that is one of the best episodes of television that I've ever seen. It has one episode that is better than any individual episode of the Owl House, and has a better ending than the Owl House. But as like a overall show is the difference between a 10 out of 10 and an 8 out of 10?
I mean, I guess I'll have to chime in whenever we eventually bring back Castaway Cartoon, the long-awaited spin-off of Castaway. Just kidding, nobody was waiting for it, but Castaway Cartoon may come back someday for Amphibia. If you want Amphibia on Castaway Cartoon, comment below so we know you exist.
Yeah, please. Or, you know,
Please
Avatar,
make us feel it's
or
worth it.
Steven Universe, or
Dude,
whatever.
I want to watch Avatar so bad.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Avatar would be so good.
I agree. Once we get like a definitive window of time when that Avatar movie is supposed to come out, we'll see if we can incorporate it into the schedule.
Right.
The last note that I want to have on the podcast as a whole is a little less to do with the Owl House specifically, and more just Western animation in general. I now find myself in the same position I was 3 years ago at the end of Steven Universe. Where do I go as a fan of Western animation for Western animated TV series, and a guy who has said with his whole chest several times that he prefers cartoons over anime? Where do we go from here? Like, what is the next big Western animated show to watch?
As far as I can tell, you can correct me on this because I have limited experience with Western animation, despite being an American myself. It seems like a lot of the good ones, like Inside Job, Inside Job, and Infinity Train got canceled.
Yep.
As far as I can tell, there's nothing really popping off right now in the same way that Owl House was. And yet
exactly
they canceled Owl House. It's such a perplexing decision.
Yeah, it's
like,
it's
from a
similar...
financial situation. Honestly, I still don't get why they canceled the Owl House.
I think COVID. I think it was a mix of COVID made them, you know, reorganize their budgets and like, all right, we don't have enough to funnel into Disney Channel at the time, and also stuff about, hey, this kind of content we don't want to have on our channel because it doesn't represent the Disney brand, even though it's like the most popular thing we've had in a while. Like, maybe if not like popular and like wide-reaching as something, you know, like Phineas and Ferb.
It's hard to imagine it being too edgy, but I mean, I guess like, it is.
If it what it lacked in like profitability, I'd imagine. What it lacked in profitability was also their fault because they don't fucking make merch for their shit. There are you would think a company like Disney, who are like quick on the merchandising, would like have merch commission, like even a fucking Funko Pop, like those piece of shit fake toys.
It's not that there wouldn't be people to buy the merch, because I have 2 Owl House posters in my bedroom up right now, and they're from the Mystery Shack, not Disney. I don't think the Mystery Shack is. I'm not sure if any of that goes to Disney.
No, they're not affiliated officially with Disney. They work with the show's creators to get their consent to make the merch, but they don't work with like the companies themselves.
Which is, I think they only have Gravity Falls and Owl House stuff. Although I could be wrong on that. There might be more.
They have some amphibious stuff, and I wouldn't be surprised if they had stuff from like Starverses, and maybe they'll even branch into more recent Disney cartoons like The Ghost of Molly McGee and maybe Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. But as far as like exciting or interesting narrative-driven Western animated shows, there's really nothing. Like, only on the horizon, the only 2 cartoons that I'm interested in, to my like immediate knowledge, are My Adventures with Superman, and that's exclusively because their incarnation of Lois Lane is literally just Luz Naseda. It's just a grown-up Luz.
I thought it was the same voice actor. Turns out it isn't, but I thought they were.
They do kind of sound similar from what little we've seen of it so far. And I'm interested in seeing that because it's an Adult Swim Superman show that looks way better than like your average Adult Swim show, because usually Adult Swim shows, if Adult Swim cartoons not called Rick and Morty, look either like low budget or have weird experimental art styles that may not be inherently visually appealing, but they're visually interesting at least. Like I think of you will have no idea what I'm talking about. I think of shows like, Ball Masters 9009, whatever that show was called, 12 Ounce Mouse, Xavier Renegade Angel. Some of them, like, they'll range in visual quality and animation quality, and they might even be, technically ugly, like on a technical standpoint, but they're like so interesting and have such interesting content matter that it's like appealing just to take a dip in, especially fucking Xavier Renegade Angel. Holy shit. But
here, I'll look that up right now. Xavier Renegade Angel.
Yeah, it looks like if you made it in Gmod or like Source Filmmaker.
Oh, it's this show.
Yeah, it's that
I've
show.
seen this. I haven't seen the show itself, but I've seen plenty of memes about it.
Yeah, it's that show. And so the Superman show, it looks like it's going to be it's a little too early to tell if it's going to be like slice of life or story driven. I hope that it's going to be like a mix of both, and it's going to focus on a, romantic side to Lois and Superman's relationship, and just have them be a fucking rom-com pair. I think that would just be adorable. And maybe like with it being on Adult Swim, we'll have like enough of an edge to it to make it more appealing to me as a 23-year-old. Maybe some themes or like elements of sex, or a little blood, little violence. Not to say that a show needs that to be good. It's just things that I appreciate.
A show needs all of that to be good.
And then the other cartoon, also on Adult Swim, is the newest thing by Gendy Tartakovsky, creator of Samurai Jack and Primal, and shows like that. What's it called? Unicorn Warriors Eternal. And that one just looks like a straightforward action narrative driven cartoon, and which I'm watching not necessarily because I'm sold on the premise, but just because of the man's pedigree, because he's the guy who made Samurai Jack and Primal.
And that is why you must return to anime.
Yeah, I mean, Granted, I was like feeling that way for only like 6 months back in 2020, and before I started watching The Owl House and Amphibia, and I was like, oh my god, Western animation is fucking back. And then now we're in a compared to that state, it's a little worse, because now, in addition to there are no good Western animated shows that are also narrative driven out right now. The state of Western animation is in a bigger question mark than it was 3 years ago, because of companies like Netflix and HBO Max just canceling shit left and right, and they restructuring.
For whatever bizarre reason, I guess COVID, like you said.
I feel like this one, it's not COVID. It's just like a failing to understand how to like market and find audiences for animated shows, or like just an undervaluing of them, which is causing them to get canceled, as opposed to like they're shitty shows that get canceled because no one likes them. It's like, what does it say about the state of the industry when the most talked about like new cartoon of the year so far, and like correct me if I'm wrong. Oh, well, no. Bluey didn't come out this year. Bluey came out last year.
Oh, Bluey came out last year? Okay.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say Velma.
You're right.
Like, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I cannot think of a new cartoon that came out this year so far that was as talked about. It's not good, but as talked about as Velma.
To be fair, it is only 4 months into the year, but even still, it ain't a good look.
Yeah, so I'll hold out. I have no choice but to hold out hope yet again. But here I stand. I was hoping that Owl House would become my new favorite cartoon, or was welcome to the idea of it. It didn't. It is now second place. It's ahead of BoJack Horseman, just behind Steven Universe. It's in my top 2, so that that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's still a pretty good title.
I have more merch of it than I do of Steven Universe. I own a one of a kind LED painting of Amity, so that's pretty lit.
That you must give to me now.
Commission
as
yourself.
Soon as you reminded me of it.
Go contact the guy and commission him yourself.
Might actually do.
I mean, you might have to pay extra for him to ship it across the country to you, but I don't know if you next time you ever like drive down to Florida.
Yeah, like I just do that all the time.
And with that, I guess that'll finally bring us to the end of the Owl House on Castaway Anime. It's been fun, and I have a video that I want to make on the Owl House that I want to release sometime before June to commemorate its ending. And with that, I guess that'll bring us to an end. It's hard to say goodbye, but it's you know what? It's like the line always goes: "Don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened."
It was a very good experience, and hey, I will absolutely rewatch it someday. The real question is, do I put the Owl House on my media list, or do I put the Owl House Season 3 on my media list?
I mean, the whole thing's over, so you fucking might as well, right?
Yeah, true.
Alright, and with that, that'll bring us to the final episode of the Owl House of Castaway Anime. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and head on down to the comments to tell us what your favorite episodes of the Owl House were, what the Owl House means to you. What did you think of the finale? Did you do some things that you loved? Did you do some things that you wish could have done better? Well, let us know. And if there's any cartoons you want us to cover on Castaway Anime or Castaway Cartoon, when I make the logo next time we talk about a cartoon, where I'll put a piece of duct tape over the part where it says anime and then spray paint the word cartoon on it.
Or even better, just X out with like a bright pink background, then put in yellow Comic Sans cartoon.
That is pretty good too. All right, well that'll finish her off for this episode. I'm Neon Manta,
and I'm Ragged Muffin,
and you'll see us next time.
Bye.